What's up, guys? This is Rise, and welcome to another video, a special one, where I'm going to be taking you through a slightly under 300-point climb in the span of about 48 hours, Thursday, Friday, Saturday morning / Friday night, where I was able to climb from the low 2700s all the way to legend rank. And I think what was especially cool is I was one of the first people to hit legend rank this season. I think there were at least 2 that did it before me, if not maybe a few more. So I think I was one of the first 5 or so to hit it, and the first streamer to hit legend rank this season, which is pretty cool. What's funny is I hit expert on the Thursday, and then I hit legend on a on a Saturday. So I was kind of behind the race a little bit in terms of like the top leaderboarders, and then just had a couple really nasty days, in a good way nasty, with this team of Shadow Muck, Lapras, and Obstagoon. I thought it was kind of cool that even after all these generations have been introduced to Kanto Pokemon, we're on this team. And of course, this team has a pretty simple ABB strategy, right? Shadow Muck's going to do well against most fighters, and then Lapras and Obstagoon are both weak to fighters. So Lapras has a safe swap, hopefully lures them out, Muck can clean up, and Obstagoon sweep her in back. I also liked how all 3 of these Pokemon have a lot of play against the Trevenant Walrein core. With Muck running Poison Jab, Thunder Punch, it has that coverage against Walrein, also Dark Pulse for Trevenant. Lapras with Skull Bash can do pretty well against Walrein and can hold its own with that Ice Shard damage against Trevenant. And then Obstagoon, of course, is a core breaker for those 2. And that was certainly the most common core I was seeing. This team is by no means perfect. It's very weak to things like Toxicroak, Escavalier. So when I was running it, people say, what the heck do you do against this? Well, we try our best, and we're going to get things off. So when I say sit back, grab a snack, and enjoy, I emphasize it in this video because this is one of my longest videos ever. 3 days worth of sets. Not all of them, of course, that'd be way too long, but they kind of jump a little bit from set to set. And we're going to take you through it. So about an hour-long video, one of my longest videos ever on the channel. But I hope it is worth it. Let me know in the comments, what snack are you grabbing while watching this video? And in battle number 1, I'll just restart it since it's right there. We're going to go up against Miss Polasha, who, there's so many amazing female battlers we have in the community that whip my butt all the time. And that sounded kind of bad. But Polasha is, I think, right at the top of the list in terms of the top female battlers in the world. Just one of the top battlers in the world in general. No need to put any sort of gender behind it. She's always towards the top of the Gym Breakers World Cup leaderboards, which is a very competitive and fun format that I captain Team USA for. But here we are in game number 1, and Lapras got matched up very nicely there against the Drifblim. Polasha elected to give up switch advantage, which made things a little bit easier for me. And you do notice that I actually preserved my Obstagoon on the Drifblim swap, because Drifblim actually doesn't do bad against Obstagoon. And I know that from running Drifblim myself in Ultra League, because and check this out, she catches my dang Skull Bash on her Trevenant. What a savage catch. I actually decide to go in with my Muck here. And I go straight Thunder Punch, thinking maybe maybe it'll mess her up if I just throw it. Because at this point, I'm like, okay, Obstagoon's probably my win condition. So I actually that's why I swapped in the Muck into the Trev. Save my shields for Obstagoon. You could argue I could have done the reverse, right? I could have swapped Obstagoon in here, saved Muck, probably up a shield for Walrein. That might have been fine too. But I just decided to play it this way. And her team is triple weak to the Obstagoon. Like I was saying, though, Drifblim does not do bad by any means against Obstagoon. If you can debuff the Obstagoon first before it gets off a move, then you can take a couple of Night Slashes. It suddenly becomes a very close matchup. Same thing with Scrafty. If you debuff the Scrafty, suddenly becomes quite close. Walrein has lots of energy. Looks like a charge move priority event here. Gonna get off my Cross Chop. Bang! Walrein is quite low. I decided to shield because if she had 100 energy and she baits me, then she could only barely just reach an Earthquake here. But honestly, I don't think an Earthquake would even KO from this range. And it's just a Spear. So there we go. Game number 1 in the books. A little bit of friendship with Paulasha. Shame I didn't get to meet her at Worlds. Maybe she'll qualify for a spot this year. I would not be surprised. Battle Boy. It's like Beast Boy from Teen Titans. Terrific lead. I also did see quite a few Sylveon leads, but then here is a problem. They safe swap the Toxicroak. So Toxicroak is very tough for our team. We don't have a great answer to it. So I decide to land a Thunder Punch and I swap in my Lapras. You might be like, Rise, what are you doing? Why would you swap your Lapras into a Toxicroak? Well, I kind of want to keep my Muck around for that Sylveon, right? So that's why I'm swapping my Lapras into a Toxicroak. I get off my Surf here. Toxicroak elects to commit a Shield. I wasn't sure if I could live a Sludge Bomb plus a counter here. So I do elect to Shield. And we'll see if it comes back to bite me, because Sylveon, now that I'm shieldless, this Sylveon becomes pretty tough, right? Because Psyshock is going to really threaten my Muck. I do get off Double Surf. Double Surf would do more than a single Skull Bash. That's why I like to go for that here. The problem is now I'm going to have to eat a Psyshock on my Muck, and we don't know what's in back. So is Opti going to be able to handle what's in back? And it's an Escavalier. So the two biggest core breakers on our team both reside on this team. So that's always a shame, right? You get such a good lead, but you just have no answer for the back line. So this is going to be a rough loss. And this is an example of a flaw with this team, right? I usually don't recommend, when I do coaching sessions with people, I don't recommend building a team that just like auto loses to something. You want to make sure your team's as balanced as possible. This team doesn't necessarily fit that description. You're kind of gonna, it's very tough to overcome a Escavalier or a Toxicroak. It is possible though. And here we'll see if we can do it. Muck versus Toxicroak. Muck or Lapras are like where we want to see the Toxicroak, as funny as that may sound, because it's not good for either. But we're gonna land the Thunder Punch and then go into Lapras. And the reason I'm doing this is, like, I'd rather force him to throw his larger energy move than to just, like, be able to keep Mud Bombing and outpace my Muck. So we lure out the Snorlax. He wisely throws his move before we get to Surf. And what I'm thinking here is I might be able to just shield once and counter all the way down, because that Toxicroak was approaching Night Slash range. It took quite a bit of damage from the Thunder Punch and the Ice Shard damage. So I'm thinking I can shield this superpower, counter all the way down, and now I have double Night Slash to threaten this Toxicroak. So if Toxicroak comes in, it's going to have to commit a shield if it wants to stay lined up against this. And my opponent wisely comes in with a Water Ice type. Is it a Walrein? Is it a Lapras? It is a Lapras. So here I'm just making sure to keep my residual energy, right? I want to have residual energy in case the Toxicroak decides to come in, that I can throw it. And here we go. Just as we planned, we have residual energy to throw here at Tox. I grab a shield, and my Muck never took a Mud Bomb earlier, so my Muck will be able to survive a Mud Bomb here. I'm going to go for a jab down. I'm pretty sure I can get it, and this is looking really good. I do one jab and throw my Thunder Punch. Lapras is going to have to use that last Protect Shield probably, yep. And do we get to another one? We do. And Mr. Muck. Shadow Variance takes out the Lapras. Lapras said, ow. Got electric shocked. And we get the win. So, Rise, I know Janine has already commented, how does this team beat a Toxicroak? We beat one there, and I'm not saying it's easy, but it's possible. I would go as to say Escavalier is probably even worse. Toxicroak, I don't know. It's a little bit flimsy, and at least our Muck can resist those counters. This is a bit of an awkward lead for us, because I can't really like safe swap my Lapras, right? Because I don't want to swap my Lapras into an Ampharos. So So definitely an awkward lead. I know this is just a Thunder Punch, but I'm like, I kind of just want to get rid of this thing and win switch. Go for the Dark Pulse here. I'm not expecting him to shield since he's so low. So Ampharos goes down. And this is awkward, right? I store a move and I go to Lapras, which is... I don't think it's the smartest play. Oh my gosh. And I did one extra expecting a potential catch. And my opponent catches on the 5th Ice Shard. Very nicely done. And this is going to be really tough. I'm not sure if we can win this. Because that Snorlax has so much energy. And Super Power threatens to one-shot our Obstagoon. So I really needed to maybe land a Surf there on the Snorlax if I had thrown right away. Or not fall for the bait. But that was worst case scenario. And a tremendous... prediction by my opponent that I was going to throw one after instead of right away. Really nicely done by them. I'm able to bank a Surf. Oh, and I don't throw my punch right away. This would have been really nice to threaten the last shield. And I don't get off my punch. So a combination of our opponent outplaying us and us just misplaying this game. Really unfortunate. You see me not get off my move there. I think at that point I'd kind of just conceded. Since I know the Snorlax had 2 moves. And it was good night to Mr. Obstagoon. So, definitely a winnable game there. Definitely a winnable game. If I had just played better. And made a few better calls there. But our opponent played that tremendously. And we keep on searching. You'll see the elo like fluctuating in some of these battles. I had a lot of these battles in my phone. And then some on stream. So, it was a lot of editing. Like putting it together. And I know they're not 100% all the way in order, but I did the best I could in that regard. So we'll see. We will see. We shield the Shadow Ball, which is nice. Our opponent did 1 extra. It's going to be 7 for them to get to Shadow Ball, 8 for us to get to Dark Pulse. So I know they did 1 extra. We do get the bait, which is nice because now we get to Dark Pulse first here. So our opponent has to decide if they want to commit a shield, and they don't. So Muck... winning switch and maintaining health. Because my Muck is still quite healthy, I elect to safe swap my Lapras here. And the reason for this is simply if there is a counter user in the back, this would likely lure out the counter user. Gonna get off my Skull Bash. Really no point in baiting here in my opinion. The nice thing with Skull Bash is it guarantees that defense increase. So even if your opponent commits the shield, at least you're getting something good out of it. You're still getting a big defense increase. Another Earthquake coming through. Just committing to the bash here. I'd rather have forced my opponent. Oh, they go for the spear. Interesting. Yeah, not sure why they settled for the spear. Skull Bash, bang. In comes... oh my gosh, I remember this. I was like, oh no, not a Toxicroak, but it's a Sneasler. It is a Sneasler, and Muck is going to resist everything here, so I didn't need to shield. I may get farmed down, unfortunately. Sneasler does have access to X's or close combats. This is a little bit scary. We've still got our fully healthy Goon. Our switch timer is not going to be up yet, so we don't have the opportunity to catch yet. And it's like, do I call it? Do I shield a potential close combat? I go for the call, and I call it correctly. And I'm not sure. Our opponent may have potentially thrown this game. And he's probably expecting me to catch here, which is why he's not throwing. And then he gets countered down. So a bit of a tricky situation for him. He may have been able to build up to double close combat and win. But we played to our win condition. And we got the dub. All right, Muck versus Gyarados. Our Thunder Punch threatens to one-shot this Gyarados, so they'd like to dip out of here usually. And I learned that the hard way this first time. This might be the first time I ran into Gyarados lead with this team. So they make a beautiful catch on my Thunder Punch. And now this is a little bit tricky, right? Because that Gyarados has an Aqua Tail loaded. And we don't have like an obvious Gyarados answer on our team. So it might be a little bit tricky to deal with afterwards. We go for a cross chop here. Might go for a... oh, I actually elect to throw another one here as to not take another move. This way, I figured Gyarados will probably have to throw an Aqua Tail at me. Get off our Night Slash for some chip damage. What could be in back? Gyarados, Steelix. So at least we force Gyarados to throw energy here. And I'm probably going to come in with the Lapras, if I had to guess, right? Or do I? Yeah, I come with Lapras, just a little bit bulkier. Can tank this energy that I know the Gyarados was gonna get off. We shield a Crunch. Oh, and it's a Dragonite. That's terrific. Gonna shield here just to be safe. I think it's only a Claw, but because I did 4 Ice Shards, so it has to be a Claw. But I shield just to be safe. I can probably Ice Shard all the way down. And, you know, I think our opponent made a bit of a mistake, right? Let's see how much health the Gyarados had. Might as well, like, stay in with the Gyarados, hope to land a Crunch, and then hope Dragonite can close. But obviously a tough situation for them regardless. Oh, Mr. Itzaxon, the North American International Champion. Nice guy, terrific battler. Had the pleasure of meeting him a few times. We safe swap Lapras. We're met by S-Cav, which is a little bit awkward. Here's the thing, though, is they don't necessarily know that our back Pokemon is also super weak to S-Cavalier. So sometimes I can use that to my advantage. I get a sneak here because Axon tried to force a charge move priority. So I actually force a shield. Or I assume I will force a shield here. I could have gone for another sneak. And I'm like, okay. I let this go. This is a little awkward. You could argue I should have... Okay. This is only a drill run, so I know I can tank this. But this is looking kind of rough. In comes D-Knight. And D-Knight's so glassy that it's not going to appreciate a Night Slash. Night Slash does some nice damage. I come in with Muck. I would assume I shield, yeah. Even a Dragon Claw would deal some devastating damage. In comes Trev. Oh man, I don't think we can do this, can we? We can just get Shadow Balled. Yeah, and Trev's not in Night Slash range. Shoot. Gosh darn Axon. Why you gotta be so good? Could I have done anything differently that game? Other than maybe... Honestly, I don't think shielding the Lapras would have made too much of a difference because he simply could have just shielded his S-Cav again and then he would have had to move to threaten whatever came in. So I think it's kind of the same result there. Mr. Jerson Sanks, terrific battler. Muck into Walrein. We're going to see this lead multiple times. Aren't very common. Once again, our opponent makes a terrific catch into a fellow Muck. My Muck brother. Hello, hello. Good to see you. Haven't seen you since Thanksgiving. The Mucks, they're catching up. They're chatting with one another. Jerson goes straight for a Thunder Punch, which is kind of interesting. And this is going to allow me to overfarm here. I don't have an obvious answer for Muck, right? So I elect to just stay in since my back Pokemon do fine against Walrein. I catch a Thunder Punch, but like, what does that really do me? I'm catching a super effective move. I throw a Surf here to not have to take another Thunder Punch. And I expect Walrein to come in. Walrein comes in. It has a lot of energy built up, so I'm aware of that. But I don't feel like... Okay, I take it back. I will commit a Protect Shield. Will he outpace me to this next one? He will. That's unfortunate. But I know I can survive. I throw my Skull Bash immediately, just because I didn't really want to get, like, sniped by a counter user or something if I decided to do one Ice Shard. I get the final shield. I go in Obstagoon, and this is, like, okay, but kind of awkward. Because Gliscor resists the counters, but it only threatens us with its big charge. It only threatens us with Earthquake. Night Slash is not going to do hardly anything to Goon. So I have to make a call here whether I think he's going to go for it or not. I shield, and it is the Earthquake. So a very big shield there. Very big shield. That Wall Rain, though, is still quite healthy in the back. I get the boost. I get the boost. He can only get to a Night Slash here. In comes the Walrus, and we get to a boosted Cross Chop, and this might be enough because of the boost. Cross Chop, bang. Still tanks it, actually, and gets off a move here, but we still have a little bit of health on our back two Pokemon. So, and Obstagoon lives, so we are good. We get a 3-ball victory there. Very nice. Thanks to the boost. I'm not sure. I wasn't keeping track if Gliscor could have reached that second Earthquake if we had failed to boost, but that's certainly possible. So that might have been quite the lucky win there. But my switch clock was also coming up, so maybe had a catch opportunity as well. Battle starting. Shamon, cool name. Tough lead. So Swampert a bit of a tough lead here. I usually go straight into Lapras. I feel like the longer you stay in there with Muck, the worse it is. I am able to throw my Surf right away, which is nice because it creates a desync in the switch timer. And if I can shield A, of course I get baited. People are savages these days. They're catching at random times. They're baiting when it makes, like, no sense to bait. At least I was able to call this Body Slam. That would have been extra rough if that was a superpower that he just went for straight away. I'm trying to save this energy, but my opponent throws the move really smart, and it's another Body Slam, so I could have even let that go. I have energy saved up now with my Lapras, and I know he's probably going to swap in the Swampert, so I want to have energy to threaten it when it comes in. So I get the full jab down. I'm expecting the Swampert to come in. I think it's only one Mud Shot off of a second Hydro Cannon, so that's why I'm going to throw here right away. Could have potentially baited here, but I grab a shield, and he actually allows me to get off this Thunder Punch, which is really nice. Thunder Punch, grabs the second Protect Shield, and then he's actually forced to throw here. He might have been able to Mud Shot me down, but my switch timer was coming up. I come in with Goon right away because I figured he would expect me to come in with my Lapras to throw my Surf, so that's why I come in with Goon. In comes a Muck, and this is a little bit awkward because we've got energy here on Lapras, but our Lapras is kind of low. So it's like, where do I expend my energy? I'm going for the Surf here. I have one shy of the double. Move getting off, though, here from Muck. And I know the Swampert has a little bit of residual energy, so I know I need to overfarm here. My opponent is going to settle here for an Acid Spray rather than a Dark Pulse. I know I can't take the next jab, so I have to throw my Cross Chop right away, and this comes down to a race. Can Obstagoon survive 3 Mud Shots here? It can, and it gets to the Night Slash, and Obstagoon going to slash its way to victory. Very epic win there. That might be one of the best battles of the video for sure. That was a very memorable one. Okay, Muck into Zard. I would say slightly favorable for Muck just because my Thunder Punch is quite threatening, but of course Charizard is just such a dangerous Pokemon with that Blast Burn access. I decided to catch here on my Lapras just because I know Lapras can tank this better than Muck, whatever it is, and they actually bait. That helps me out quite a bit. I do get met by a Poliwrath, which is terrible. Absolutely terrible. However, at least I preserved my Muck, right? My back line, it also just gets shredded by Poliwrath. So that's another thing to keep note of if you try to run this team. Poliwrath is horrendous to deal with. He can simply just overfarm a ton here. He's not threatened at all by anything from my Lapras other than the Skull Bash. So he comes out of there with tons of energy. I'm certainly going to let this first one go through, make him reveal what his second move is. It's an Ice Punch, so I know it's not super threatening. I get off my Thunder Punch. Is he going to be willing to commit his second Protect Shield? He is not, so that's good for us. And at this point, I can just save shields for my Obstagoon. I know I can take this Ice Punch. And there's a Trevin back, so this is looking good for us. And our opponent decides to top left. Since his Charizard was quite low, his Poliwrath was quite low. So I think our Goon had that one under control. GG is the opponent. Crobat, kind of an awkward lead. They elect to switch right away, so I go into my Obstagoon. And let's see how I decide to play this. I came to learn that my Obstagoon can actually live a superpower. So I end up playing this like different a few times. This time I shield first. And because he baited, I'm going to throw my Night Slash here as to not have to take the potential superpower. I grab his shield. I'm going to shield this because I know my Goon is still going to be like fully healthy. So I still have a fully healthy Goon, but he does get shield advantage. So it's a little bit of give and take. And I'm debating like if I want to dip out of here. Because Snorlax very well could be to like lure out the Obstagoon. I take the Poison Fang. I'm thinking about dipping. But it looks like I'm just staying at this point. Kind of interesting. Gonna have to eat another move here. Another Poison Fang. Chomp. So yeah, looks like we're just gonna not give up switch advantage. Just going to be content chipping away here at Crobat with our Goon. And then it's gonna be like a 2v1. And it's their own Obstagoon. So that worked out really well for us. If I had given up switch, this could have been really tough. Because his Goon up a shield could have been a menace. So a little bit lucky. Because Future Chris, right now, Future Rise, was debating whether I should have like swapped out there to preserve my Goon. But if we had done that, he could have just stayed in with like Crobat against Muck. And then we might have been in a bad spot. Cross Chop, gonna chunk, but doesn't do all that much. Just gonna throw my Surf here right away, nothing fancy, to get rid of Mr. Obstagoon. And the Crobat is very low. So they top left at the last possible moment. And we take the win. Don't mind if I do. Positive sets. Positive sets adding up, and you see a little bit of a jump here in the ELO to 29-10. Still running the same team. Castiel Rock is the opponent. We've talked about this. We play Castiel Rock all the time, it seems, in the Go Battle. He's always such a good opponent, and baits me with the Body Slam. I wonder if Castiel was the last straw. If he was like, okay, I'm not shielding my Obstagoon here anymore. But yeah, I'm going to throw here right away. So Snorlax will have to commit a shield. And I actually let this go. I'm like, you know what? I think I can live this. And look at that. I live it with 1 HP. And this is perfect scenario, right? Because now he has a Sylveon. Because what I didn't want to happen is I commit my second shield and then the Sylveon just charms me all the way down. That would have been terrible. So Sylveon's staying in here for a while. So I'm going to definitely respect the Psyshock, but I've been able to farm up a lot of energy here, which is really nice. And there's a Lapras in the back, so this is looking pretty good for us. I have lots of energy to threaten this Lapras. And this is where charge move timing is important, right? I'm throwing after 1 jab each time. It's a 2-turn move compared to Ice Shot, which is 3 turns. I think I could have thrown on charge move priority there, but for some reason I went for the sneak because I knew I could live it, I guess. So kind of risky, but it worked out because now I can bank that Thunder Punch for later if I need it. This is kind of unnecessary in my opinion. I'm going for a Surf because I want to get it off before they increase their defense, but like, it is what it is. I don't think that was very necessary. And then, yeah, it's over. We still got that Thunder Punch banked in back. So that is a G to the G. As always to Mr. Castiel. Yeah, another 3-2 set. So like a lot of 3-2s, a lot of 4-1s that just kind of kept creeping up over these couple of days. And once again, these battles aren't all consecutively. They're a little bit mishmashed. And oh, did you see that, by the way? Did you catch it? 29-03 after a 3-2. We lost 7 points for a 3-2. So we were already quite a ways on the leaderboard at this point. I think I rewinded a little bit too far for my liking, but we were at 29-10. You'll see us collect the 3-2, and we lose 7 points. What's up with that? Ain't nobody got time for that. Catch a little Woobat. Boom, I fell. I fell 7 from a 3-2. It is what it is. Okay, another Sylveon lead. This time, we're met by an S-Cavalier safe swap. So let's see if we're able to handle this or not. I like to go for my Dark Pulse here. Not really expecting them to commit a shield. They don't commit a shield. I wanted to go for a Drill Run catch there, but I just kind of mispredicted when they were going to throw it. Going to throw my Thunder Punch here, potentially force a shield from the S-Cav. And the S-Cav actually just lets itself go, so this actually works out really well. Yeah, the S-Cav could have done a lot of damage there, but he seemed content just letting it go. And this is perfect. Our opponent catches the Surf, which he may be thinking at the time is really good for him, but this is actually exactly what we want to lure out the Sylveon. So Muck can finish it off, and then our Obstagoon hopefully can do enough to take down the Crobat after Crobat has been chipped. Sylveon is going to get a nice farm down here. Do I do a show and go here? Do I do a show and go? Let's see. My switch timer is up. Show and go, baby. I was able to pull this maneuver off many times with this team because I did see quite a few Sylveons. So I was able to show my Muck and then catch the Psyshock onto Sylveon. I end up taking some charm damage anyway, which isn't ideal by any means, but I think it was still the better play rather than just like either tanking it on my Muck or committing my last shield on Muck. And now we should be in a pretty good spot. Gonna get off another Night Slash here. Might even get to another one. Yeah, we live the Air Slash, so we get to another one. And we still have our Muck lurking in back with a little bit of health. And that is a G to the G. Good lead, awkward safe swap. We just had to make sure we handled the safe swap well, and we're able to get the win. Machamp leads. This is where we want to see it. They swap into their own Muck, which is very awkward for us. A little bit of mutual lag here, unfortunately. Get off my Dark Pulse. And, like, we really need to maintain switch advantage, which is the awkward thing here. So, like, I kind of have to shield this. I get baited by Thunder Punch. And then here, I think you see me let the frustration get to me. Yeah, so the reason I top left is not necessarily just because I got baited. It was because I missed multiple fast moves. I missed multiple fast moves because of the lag. So I just let the frustration get to me there and decided to top left. I think since the update, right, yesterday, the lag has, like, it's starting to improve for people, but when I posted that I hit Legend, I had a lot of people like, how is that even possible to lag? I was dealing with some lag as well. Definitely wasn't perfect on my end, but just trying to manage it the best I can. Fortunately, it wasn't too bad, where it was no more than maybe like 1 or 2 games per set where I was dealing with lag. Okay. So Nidoqueen chips us with a Poison Fang, and then here's Sylveon. I go for a Skull Bash, not expecting them to shield. And I figured this would allow me to get to a Surf as well. Who knows? Maybe I could have gotten off 3 Surfs instead, which probably would have been better. But I figured this would guarantee I get off another Surf after the Skull Bash. I will commit a Protect Shield here because I feel like I can jab down after shielding once. That Nidoqueen is still lurking. It's taking a little bit of chip damage to get it closer into Dark Pulse range. Still not really that close to Dark Pulse range, though. Muck. Throwing the move. I have to make a call here. I decide to no shield, and we get lucky. We make the right call. We do know that Nidoqueens love to bait, and there is an Empoleon in the back, which you don't see as often anymore. I used to love running Empoleon. I just feel like with all the Walrein Trev, it kind of struggles in both of those matchups. So it's lost its place a little bit in the meta, but still a very cool Pokemon. Our opponent recognizes it's Ova, and they top left. Another G to the G trainer. And you see a rematch with Mr. Castiel Rock. Is he running the same team? And you also saw the elo bump up there quite a bit. 2957 on this climb. Hopefully next season, I can be a little bit more precise and careful with my recording obligations when I'm approaching Legend. But to be honest with you guys, some of these battles are just me like watching Netflix in bed. And so this time, maybe he had actually undercharged the superpower the last time, because this time it appears the superpower, it did a little bit more. But I elect to go for shield advantage rather than switch advantage, because I remembered last time, right? I remembered the team last time, and I figure I don't want to go down shields because both of my back Pokemon can handle his back Pokemon. So we got Muck here against Lapras. Gonna get off another Thunder Punch here to threaten the Lapras. We grab the last Protect Shield. I'm able to catch a Surf here, which is pretty nice. And I think we're in a pretty good spot here, unless I'm mistaken. A little bit of a mirror match here. He builds up quite a bit of energy and then goes into Sylve. I throw my Skull Bash. I honestly don't know if this is the right play, but it seems like when you can debuff your defense and land a big charge move, it seems like it's usually the way to go. But who knows? Maybe 3 Surfs is the better play there. And Sylveon's actually not even going to reach the Psyshock, which is going to make this a little bit more comfortable for us. Castiel. Realize it's over. I forgot to mention last time we played him. Whenever I see his name, I think of Castiel from Supernatural. Let me know in the comments how many of you guys have watched that show. I watched it all the way through. Definitely one of my preferred shows. This was a very epic battle, by the way, against 23 EJB, top Sylph battler. Won the last chance qualifier to get to the World Championships in London. Just a phenomenal battler. We're going to go for the Skull Bash here. I didn't really expect him to shield, because it feels bad like shielding a Surf here, so he lets it go. And what I thought, by the way, was like a smart play by me, you're going to see ends up being maybe my downfall. But we land another Skull Bash, which I'm like, this will let me get to another Surf now. This is amazing. But we're giving Sylveon a lot of extra energy with the charms. I do another show and go here. I show the Muck. I catch on my Obstagoon. In comes Swampert. This would be a situation where Obstruct might really come in handy, because then we could probably tank 2 Hydros, but... And I had a feeling here he goes for the EQ, so I do shield, and it is an EQ. Go for another Night Slash here. Just want to get rid of this Swampert. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be a CMP. No, he actually gets there one earlier, which is kind of crazy. which caught me off guard, right? Because, oh no, because it'd be 15 either way. So I guess it makes sense because he had gotten the sneaks. Another move coming here. We're going to have a Thunder Punch, but Sylveon does win CMP if it has a move, and it has a move. So that's why I elected to throw one jab there. And yeah, so that was oh man, that was such a good game. It was a little bit frustrating on my end because I felt like I made all the right calls. I had the show and go catch. I shielded the Earthquake correctly, but yet he still won. And I think the only thing I could have done differently would have been not throwing the Skull Bash against maybe both the Gyarados and the Sylveon. And that was such a weird game because I felt like I made all the right calls. I landed all the big moves, I shielded all the big moves, and yet I lost because the Sylveon got that extra energy from all the charms against Lapras. So just a very weird game. An amazing game. But has that ever happened to you? You feel like you play a game like perfectly and then like somehow you still lose because it just works out that way, where they had the perfect amount of energy to get to a move and they had the perfect amount of energy with a few HP to CMP at the end. Like, that was a tough one, but no shame in losing to EJ. He's a beast. Here we are, Muck versus Nidoqueen. They Stone Edge, which caught me off guard, and I swear, since these battles, I've seen like several Stone Edge Nidoqueen. I've seen many of them, so be careful. There's some crazy opponents out there. Gonna go for a Dark Pulse here. We get to the second one before Nidoqueen gets to the second Stone Edge. And the awkward thing is I can't really catch here, you know? Like, I can't really catch. I like to commit another shield. Luckily, I don't get baited. Gotta throw my Thunder Punch. Don't want to eat another move here. Okay, so we take out Nido, but we go down a shield in the process. Okay. Questionable play. I swap in my Obstagoon, but I do store energy for later, which is kind of nice. And this matchup isn't like the most comfortable for Gary. If I remember this correctly, I think my opponent like elects to not throw their move. Is that what ends up happening here? Because they should be like the equivalent of 5 counters. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, no, I take it back. They throw their move. Maybe I don't throw my move. No, I do throw my move. Oh, because the Shadow Claws do so little. Maybe I'm hoping I don't get farmed down. It would have been really close. It would have been really close. But my opponent does end up deciding to throw energy. I come in with Lapras here. I figure I can tank 2 Seed Bombs and get off a Surf. And by that point, he should be within charge move range for my Muck. And like, he can't really shield this, right? Because he knows my Muck has energy. But he does shield it. And then I quick swap. I'm 1 jab away. So my opponent would have had to like Seed Bomb there immediately. But then they probably don't take out the Lapras anyway. So that was a really good game. Lots of dynamic swaps and fluid gameplay. And another 3-2. And I'm telling you guys, 3-2s, they add up. Well, once you get to like the ELO range of this video, sometimes they don't add up because sometimes they give you negative points. But if you consistently go 3-2, they will add up for you on your journey to whatever your goal rank is. Ace, Veteran, Expert, or even Legend. Okay, we're here against Dijon. Komodo, a little bit tricky for Kanto Muck here. Alolan Muck does a little bit better here. But my charge moves are both resisted. Unfortunately, we both blind swap. I don't know why you would swap out of a K-Muck with a Dragon. But perhaps he has a similar team comp to me. That kind of makes sense, right? Like, he wants to lure out the fighter. I go for the Bash. I figure he probably won't shield since he's super powered. But now it's like, do I want to shield? And I'm like, if I shield, I probably just get Dragon Tailed down, and that energy is going to be tough to deal with. So I decide, no, I'll just let it go. Once again, maybe Double Surf was the play. Gosh darn, Rise. I swap in my Goon here. And he's not switching, which tells me he probably is a little bit weak to Goon in the back. I do have to shield here. I know it's probably a Dragon Claw bait, but can't really risk it at this point. I've still got both my shields. Plus, if I let a Dragon Claw go through, suddenly I'm like close to getting potentially farmed down. I'm using my next shield, and there's an Excadrill in back. A spicy team. Makes sense from Dijon. He's always running Spice. But we take the Drill Run. We've got double Cross Chop, so I think we're in a pretty good spot here. We also still have some energy on our Muck, if I remember correctly. And I know I can actually farm down here. So I farm down. I get off my Cross Chop, which should force the last shield. And then I can swap into K-Muck. K-Muck has the move. Going for Dark Pulse. It does more damage here. And we take out the... Oh, that was a good game. Gotta respect the Spice from Dijon. He's also infamous for running Credilli at the Indianapolis Play Pokemon Regionals. Muck versus Trevor. By the way, I've wanted to mention, when I think of the anime series, one of the most memorable moments I think of is my opponent catches at such a random time, too. He catches the move on his Steelix, and he probably didn't even expect it to be a Thunder Punch. He probably thought it'd be a Dark Pulse. Oh, what a savage. Opponent is just in Rise's head right now. I figure this is probably an Earthquake, but I don't want to go down 2 shields, you know? So perhaps I should have, like, thrown both my Cross Chops. Yeah, I probably should have thrown both my Cross Chops before I let him get there. Questionable plays, Rise. Questionable plays. I get the boost. I didn't want him to get to a Psychic Fangs there or a Crunch. So I do throw this. I double boost. But, like, bro, why could I not have double boosted when I actually had health? Because now it's like I have to shield anyway. And I'm like, dang. I have a 4 times boosted attack Obstagoon. But unfortunately... Oh, he lets it go. And there's a Zard in the back. Oh, I don't get there. That would have been massive. And now I'm like, huh, what do I do? Zard with 2 shields is just so scary. So scary. He has to shield at this point. I'm like hoping maybe this is still possible. I catch. I have energy on my Muck. So my opponent is just going to have to be really careful with his energy management. I get off a Surf. This will force the last shield. So my opponent needs to take out my Lapras and get off a move against Muck. He throws at the perfect time here. And a Claw is barely enough to take me out. And then it's a charge move priority. Is this a Blast Burn? It is. And credit to my opponent. I didn't see whose name that was, but just perfect energy management plus the catch on the Steelix allowed him to win a game that was probably a favorable team count for me. So just totally outplayed me. We're going up against Dunebug here. World-class battler. He throws a move here, and I think if I remember correctly, this catches me off guard. Obstruct, dude. Gosh dang it. Which upsets me because I simply could have thrown my Thunder Punch at the same time, and it would have done more damage. Hits me with a Night Slash here. Does some extra damage now that I'm debuffed. I try to catch. Unsuccessfully. He's going to obstruct my Lapras. I'm going to have to eat another move here. This is brutal. Oh my god. Okay. Apologies for the editing mishap. Editor Chris, I don't know. Let me know in the comments. We got to make some changes. Editor Chris right now. He's in big trouble. I do remember I lost that game to Dunebug. Dunebug did beat me that game. There was a Venusaur in the back, and I went for a bait with my Muck, and he called the bait on my Thunder Punch, and that was basically the deciding factor. So Dunebug just outplayed me. But this battle here that I inserted in was a rank 4 opponent. We were sitting in queue for like an hour at this point. This might be at the point that I'm 2983 elo, when number 1 on leaderboard is like 3005. And we were sitting in queue for way too long, and I queued against a rank 4 opponent with a Don fan, which is actually a core breaker. So he led the Don fan, he or she. I had to swap into my Lapras, get rid of the Don fan. And then here's the Venusaur. Going for Dark Pulse here against Venusaur. Not trying to bait like I did against Dunebug unsuccessfully. Shielding a Frenzy. So maybe I already saw the lead Pokemon actually. It must have been a different lead, because it doesn't really make sense to shield if I already got rid of like the counter user. Dark Pulse takes out Venu. Oh, and it's Aromatisse with Charge Beam. That's right, Charge Beam Aromatisse. This was a YouTube short. That's right. I remember now. It's all coming back to me now. What else is coming back to me was the Muck story I failed to tell 2 times now. Is when I see Muck, I always think of, I think it was Ash in like the Pokemon League, one of the first season, and he brings his Muck, and it just like, it basically just like envelops like a Bellsprout in other Pokemon. It's so funny. Bro, Rise. Seriously, dude? Oh, okay, so this is the continuation. This is the continuation of the Dunebug battle. Okay. This is kind of like Inception. This actually works out. So Obstagoon has basically taken down 2 full Pokemon. I get scared here about what's going to come in, so I throw my Thunder Punch. And do no shields. And you're going to see this was just a critical mistake on my part, because I had the double Dark Pulse. So if I had simply thrown double Dark Pulse, it would put me in a much better spot. We come in with the Obstagoon here against Crobat. Obstagoon is going to struggle here. But, and then this is so tricky. It's like, where do you expend your shield, right? Like, you know there's a Venusaur waiting. So I throw my Night Slash here. Just focusing on my timing. This is so awkward. I throw another Night Slash here. This will probably force the last Protect Shield, I would think. It does. And I catch here on my Muck with 1 HP, so this is pretty crucial. However, Crobat had a move, and I don't get my counter through. Not getting the counter through doesn't make too much of a difference here, because as you'll see, I get off a Night Slash against Venu. Night Slash doesn't do quite enough, and Venu would have got to a move. And I was upset at myself. That's why I top lefted, because I could have easily just double Dark Pulse to Venu and won the game. But that error in judgment cost me the game. So GG's to Dune as always. Muck mirror match. Going to commit a shield here. Going for a Dark Pulse of my own. Will it land? Bang, it does. And now he's in Thunder Punch range, so I'm just going to throw my Thunder Punch right away, and he catches on a Trev. Terrific catch. This is Manicarp, by the way. Manicarp, another sensational battler. I try to catch a Shadow Ball, which I knew might not be successful. However, it would also leave me with energy on my Muck, which would be useful. It does allow him, however, to get off 2 Seed Bombs here before I get off a move, so a little bit unfortunate. You're gonna see me do like a slight undercharge here. Give myself a few extra counters, so a nice little undercharge there. Does the Muck come back? Or does the third Pokemon come in? Muck comes back, interesting. I figure I might live a Thunder Punch here, so I elect to no shield. I live the Thunder Punch. Get off my Night Slash. Take out. And this should be good because Lapras should be able to beat Gyarados, and we have some energy on our Muck to threaten the Gyarados. So I figure I can just come in here, force a shield, force a second shield, and then Lapras should have a pretty easy time against Gary. Gary does have quite a bit of energy here, but shouldn't really matter. No point in shielding the first one right because they could get a defense drop. No defense drop. Just going to commit to the Skull Bash. Another move coming through. I'm going to let this one go as well. And we're going to bash for the win. Noggin. Give me some Fin. Dude, Lapras. It totally works with Lapras, that saying. Give me some Fin. Noggin. Dude. And that is a 5-0, it looks like. So this must have not been the 2983 set. This must have been like to get to the 2983 set. Catch a little Miltank as a reward. Collect some Stardust. 2961. Okay. 2961. Here we go. Next battle. Muck into Walrein. Going for a Thunder Punch here. Does some really nice damage to Walrein. I was looking to catch on my Lapras here at some point. Just unable to make the right call as to when. And here I catch because he kind of had to throw there, right? So make a nice catch on the Icicle Spear. In comes Trev, which is interesting and has me a little concerned that whatever's in back might be good against Obstagoons. That's my concern at the moment. Uh-oh, a little bit of lag. Looks like it didn't affect too much, luckily. Gonna get off our Surf here. Opponent calls it. And then this is kind of weird. It's like, what do I come in with? Because I can't farm down with Goon. But if I come in with Muck, he might get to a move. I catch with Goon. This is just a Seed Bomb, though, so it's not like a Savage catch. It's just like, okay, catch. In comes Nido. I don't know if this is possible. It's going to be close, though, because both of his other Pokemon are so low. Boost! Well, that helps. I'm still not going to shield, because I can't shield this. If I shield this, then Muck just gets destroyed. Oh, crap. I think I screwed this up. Oh, this is going to be so embarrassing. I didn't think I lived. I didn't think I lived it. Oh, my God. I didn't think I lived it, so I like literally just didn't go for it. I'm like, I don't live this jab. When I did live it. But I did call that Fang. So give me some props. I called the Fang. Here's another Fang. I waited a hair of a second. That's a technological term. Dark Pulse takes out Nido. And can we jab everything down? We can. So despite a terrible misplay, we're still able to hang on and win by calling the Poison Fang bait. Craziness. Next battle here, Lapras versus Steelix. Man, apologies that there's a little bit of like straight one battle to another in these cuts. I had so many individual battles I had to cut for this video that it looks like some of them I must have overlapped a little bit. That's my mistake, so I apologize for that. Editor Chris apologizes. Surf gets shielded, so a nice little bait there. I wonder if this is the game against Wadaj. Gonna go for the Skull Bash now against Gyarados. Draws the shield, and then I'm gonna dip into Muck. Gonna have to eat a move here. Crunch, ow. Thunder Punch will obviously KO from here. Bop. You'd expect the Steelix to come in. But Dragonite comes in. Muck does not get there, so this is quite awkward. So I think what I elect to do here is come in with Lapras, force him to throw energy right away, and then put it all on Goon, because now Dragonite, after taking that one Ice Shard, has approached Night Slash range. And check this out. I stay patient. I stay patient, expecting the catch. And this will allow me to just double up here. Cross Chop the Steelix. Have the Night Slash ready for Mr. Dragonite. Cross Chop didn't even KO. Steelix is so bulky. Night Slash coming through. Bop. And Goon slays the dragon. And I think we've got one more battle. And here, oh, this was against Wadaj, I think. You see me, for my very last set, I changed to a Alolan Muck because I kept seeing a lot of Snorlax safe swaps and Trevenant leads. And I was like, I might just try and like hard call what I'm seeing, because I was battling a lot of like the same 3 people over and over. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go Alolan Muck here on my last set. So this is against Wadaj. I also played Lord Cooler with this team and House Stark in my last set. But I think this is the last battle I have for you. And once again, we see the Snorlax safe swap. So this, oh my God. Okay, wait, what? What am I doing? Why would I? Well, you know, it is a normal lax, so it's not as threatening. I shield here. What was the lead again? It was a Trevenant. Okay. That kind of makes sense, because I can swap in my Goon here, and I still have my Muck for the Trevenant. I figure I can take this since he's debuffed, right? I guess not. I go for the shield and the counter down, but he swaps aggressively into his Trevenant, which is kind of bold, swapping your Trev into an Obstagoon. I have another Night Slash already after this charge move goes through. Gonna throw it right away. I mean, he probably knows it's dead weight, right, against the Muck. So yeah, makes sense to let it go. That Lax is still lurking, and a Swampert. So this is looking pretty solid here. I have lots of energy on Muck, but I'm gonna aggressively swap in Lapras. I should be able to get off a Surf here. I get Quaked. Ow. No point in building up to Bash, in my opinion. Just get off the moves that you can. I land the Surf, and now Swampert is in danger of getting fast moved down. And I'm okay with letting Lap go here. Obviously, I don't have a shield, but the Snorlax has no... Yeah, this is over, because my Muck had so much energy, and the Snorlax had no fast move pressure for Goon, so I was probably just going to come in with Muck there, force him to throw energy with Swampert, or if he swapped, then I just go Goon. And here we go. This is claiming the rewards on stream. We're at 2983. I did that battle and won one more battle. Brought us to a 4-1. I went on stream to hang out with all you beautiful people and claim here. And we hit the legend rank for season 12. Let's go. A couple of screenshots there. First one was a little bit off the mark. And we get the Guzma pose. And the top. Maybe I should try out that top. I've been wearing my, well, I kind of like my shirt, if you know what I mean. But, yeah, guys, thank you so much for all the support on the channel as of late. One thing I do want to share with you guys is we are going to cross a cool milestone in terms of our success on the channel. Not only did we hit 35k subs pretty recently, as you check out the new pose here, season 12 legend pose, we also are just about at this time surpassing 1 million views on the channel in the month of September, which is like a really good benchmark, and gives me like a lot of hope for where this could go, because I was working like a full-time job for a couple years after college. By the way, I'm younger than a lot of you guys realize. I'm 24. I was working a full-time job in addition to doing the channel and stuff. And this past summer, knowing I was going to so many regional tournaments, and it ended up working out, right? Because I ended up winning Milwaukee and going to London. But I knew I'd be traveling a lot, going to Seattle Go Fest and all these events. I decided, you know what? I'm going to just take a break from my full-time job, commit to doing this thing full-time, and see if it works out. And the combination of your guys' support, that decision, and also my hard work putting in 1 to 2 uploads now per day, as opposed to just like 1 and missing days here and there. I'm trying to upload 2 videos every day, and at least 1. It's really, I've really seen the growth come in as of late, in terms of like viewership consistently and revenue, and it makes me really hopeful that like this could be the way, and that I made a good decision, and that this could be my future thing. So who knows? We're still in the early stages, right? In terms of like the grand scheme of things. Been doing this for 2 years, and only like just several months now, like as my full-time thing. But it's going well, and I'm really excited to see what the future holds. I'm really excited to meet all you people at events in the future, and I'll be going to quite a few regional tournaments this year, so I'm sure I'll meet a lot more people around the country. But all that said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Once again, apologies for the little mishmash of battles, but like I said, a lot of them are like me. Okay, here, if you're still around, if you're stuck around this long, by the way, much love, but here might justify slightly like why it's a little bit mismatched, some of the recordings. A lot of these battles are like me sitting in queue times for like 30 minutes to an hour, where just searching for battle. So I'm like in bed watching Netflix, and I'm like, oh crap, I got a battle. And then I have to slide my phone menu down, press record, and and then battle. So that's why like some of the recordings might have started a little bit late, or there's just a lot of battles to put together to try and line up. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you are still around, you are the GOAT. You are seriously the greatest. I love all you. Subscribe if you're new here. Comment down below. They help out the algorithm. And all that said, thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.